Okay, so hi guys. Not sure how many of you got the announcement yet on the Canvas shell, since I haven't actually published the actual Canvas shell, so you can't see your assignments or syllabus. It's very, 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 very close to being done and will be posted. The goal is Monday, and I'm usually pretty good with my goals, and if it's not, I'll let you know, and it would probably be Tuesday. So that's coming up. For now, I don't want you to stress about, what's going to be due, how heavy is this class going to be. That's what this is right now. So if you have not seen the announcement, I have posted 2 announcements. One is about the book. And I do want to apologize if you, and I never do the blame game, and, we're all human. We all make mistakes. Things happen. I was misinformed of what book we were going to be using. It's not the same one that we used last time. Then it doesn't really matter. We don't need to get into the details. However, if you did purchase the book because you saw, okay, I'm supposed to purchase this, I'm going to get ahead of the game, and you did that, obviously you did nothing wrong. However, you spent money. So if that happened, please let me know and we can talk about that. If you bought it from the bookstore, if I have to write a letter or whatever, I don't even think you have to do that to return a book there. But if you purchased it in some other way, just please talk to me. We'll communicate. I don't want to start off the semester angry, not me, any anger or animosity. So with that said, just know that we can have a discussion, and I'm very solution focused. So basically, this is what we would have done anyway. So if you go onto Canvas right now, you look on the shell, you would see under announcements, I did give instructions of why I'm doing this video and why I'm posting a video instead of meeting with you at 1:30 tomorrow, because our class is on Fridays, starting today's Thursday, yes. So tomorrow, Friday, would have been 1:30 to 4:15. However, long story, but there was an unfortunate case at work I was a witness to, but I wasn't the only witness. I wasn't supposed to have to be in court, and they canceled me to go to court on Monday, and now they are saying today you have to go. And it's online, so luckily. And so I'll be able to still be available and go on the computer, but it's at 1:00, of course. So that's obviously would interfere. I highly doubt that it's going to take 30 minutes. Probably won't even take the amount of time that I'm giving it. Although I am having us go on to Zoom at 3:30. I just wanted, excuse me. If you were in person, you would all look at me like, when you cough in person or in public now. That wasn't meant to be insensitive, but you know what I mean. So basically, tomorrow's a little bit different, and that's okay. We're nurses. We are flexible. I am creative, and luckily it is the first day actually, because really what we're doing right now is exactly what we would have been doing tomorrow. It's day 1. I'm not going to sit here and lecture and do all this stuff. I'm going to talk about the class, right? And some of the instructors would pull up the syllabi or syllabus or whatever and do it that way. I normally don't do that. So I'm going to basically do the introduction. So hi, my name is Amanda. They here at San Jose State, they go by first names. So you do not need to call me Miss Kite if you call me that. And it is actually Kite. A lot of people think it's Night. There is no N. So I basically, I teach at 3 schools. So I teach at Hartnell College. That's in Salinas. That's a ADN program. I'm Miss Kite there. I hate it. I'd say, can you call me Miss K? And then I'm here. I teach at San Jose State. I've been at Hartnell for about 2 years. I've been now at San Jose State, like I mentioned yesterday. I think it's a year actually right now, which is fabulous. I really love working for this university. And then I also work at Mission College. I'm on the tenure track there. I've been there 3.5 years. And I teach right now at all of these colleges. I am teaching 9 classes, then 10 classes, and 11 classes all within this semester, as well as in a variety. So at USF, no, sorry, I don't know why I always say that when I talk about San Jose State. Just a little tiny bit about me. At San Jose State, I mainly teach psych, whether it's simulation, it's usually clinical. I love teaching theory. I love psych meds. I love medication. I love just that non-judgmental approach. And I just love seeing that light bulb come on, because a lot of people don't understand mental health, or they've had, addiction in the family or mental health in the family. And it's a really devastating, just like most medical ailments, right? But it does have that stigma and all of that. And it's something that's very near and dear to my heart. And I love it, love it, love it. So that's one thing. So I'm teaching, I think, 4 classes this semester, 3 clinical, and then theory. I got offered, and I was just grabbed you guys right up. And then at Hartnell, I am teaching a success class to help people who are struggling and, support them and, help them basically be able to get to where they need to be. And what else am I doing? And I'm a grader. I grade very difficult assignments and give feedback, and kind of the same thing, help the students along, because I guess I'm supportive or something. Sorry. I'm very handsy. You're not my clinical, so you wouldn't know. And very clumsy, actually. I just am getting over an awful injury. I just started walking about a week and a half ago. I broke my foot, my ankle, and my rib. I fell after proctoring a test for 6 hours because my foot was asleep. So I think that's another reason I'm just feeling so much better. As you can tell, I do have a lot of energy. That's not for everybody, so I'm sorry. But I have a lot of energy. I'm very passionate, and hopefully that's your cup of tea. And it usually keeps people engaged, and the class goes like that. And then lastly, Mission College. So I'm what they call homegrown. So I started actually at Mission. So I started my nursing career journey there in the year of 2008. I did my VN first, and then I did a fast track bachelor's program at Notre Dame in Belmont. I did a really fast bachelor's, and I did it in human services with a concentration in counseling and accounting. And then I overlapped and did my RN program at Mission as well, which was fabulous. Then I took a little bit of a break, probably about 2 to 3 years to get, some experience, and then did my master's in nursing at the University of San Francisco. And I'm currently going to the University of San Francisco, which is why I always get the two mixed up from San Jose State and them. And I'm going there for my doctorate of nurse practitioner for mental health. I would say I'm about halfway through. Unfortunately, I'm on sabbatical right now because there's just no way. You can't balance. And as I mentioned yesterday, I've pretty much dedicated my life to COVID and the students. That's just, you got to do what you got to do. We're nurses. We serve. I can wait another year to be a DNP. Like, that's fine. I want to help the students graduate, and that's why I'm working as hard as I am. And yeah, okay. So, that's a little bit about me. I did make notes just so that I kind of make sure to kind of, not miss anything, because I do get off track. I get very excited because I do love, like I said, to teach. Probably I already said that 1,500 times. Just for, a little bit of information, the varieties and areas that I worked in, as I mentioned, I believe I work at El Camino. I've worked there for 6 years in Mountain View in the outpatient addictions. I work in mental health as well, but mainly in addictions, and I do a physiology of addiction class. It's just the best. Oh, I love it. It's amazing. So I do still get that one-on-one, and I still get that bedside care, even though it's not really bedside. So I think that's really critical, especially as a theory instructor. In my opinion, and I'm not saying that if your instructor is not on the floor that they're not knowledgeable or good, or you're not getting what you should be getting. But I think personally, I kind of have that leg up. So this is my philosophy, and you're going to hear me probably say it quite often, which is, number one, I don't like busy work. I'm not going to assign you something that is just to get points or whatever, or waste your time. You have enough to do, whether you I don't care if you don't have a family, like, you know, all this stuff going on. We're all busy. Nursing school by itself is busy, and especially right now with COVID and just life and everything, everyone is busy. So I don't want to waste any of your time. So what I mean by that, and what you're going to probably hear me say several times, is, so for example, you're not here to be a psychiatrist. Not that I'm a psychiatrist. I'm not training you to be a psychiatric nurse. Now, do I think that in your career, are you going to be dealing with, and that's why they moved this class to second semester, which I think is a really good idea. Because, I mean, many of the people in the population have a mental health diagnosis, whether it's, and there's a spectrum to everything, right? So you can have bipolar disorder and not be manic, or, you know, you can be depressed and not be in, like, lying in bed. So, and there's circumstantial depression. I mean, and we'll go through all of this. But my point of saying that is, 1 out of every 3 to 4 people that you're dealing with in med-surg and in OB or postpartum or who knows, right? They have a psychiatric diagnosis. So this is only going to help you. And we learn how to therapeutically communicate. And really, and I just got the chills just because of what I'm about to say, is, and I'm not saying, oh my God, I'm going to change you. But in my opinion, this class really, if you value it, which I hope you do, I hope you value any class that you're taking towards your career, especially something as, I mean, critical as nursing. We're the backbone. I mean, let's just be real. We're the backbone of the hospital. And to have that privilege of being with a patient, either when they're dying or they're being born, or they're going through a psychotic break, or you're in the ED. Do you think psych's not going to help? This is going to help you so much in so much of what you do for the entire career that you're going to have, and in life, in your relationships with your significant other. I mean, just, yes. Okay. So that's what I'm going to say about that. So what you're going to hear me say, I'm going to finally say it, is you're going to have a book, right? I don't expect you to leave that class knowing everything out of that book. And if I did, it's probably not going to happen. So I'm going to pick and choose. What is important? What is important for you as a nurse to know about psych, mental health psych, right? Or mental health nursing. What is important for you, whether you work in psych or whether you don't? That is my goal. So I don't expect you to take this book and know every single thing out of it. Now, if you want to, you know, do something else, or you really love psych like me, obviously, that was the other thing. I do have like the credentials. You probably saw, you know, when you have like letters after your name or whatever. Kind of lost my train of thought there. Sorry. That happens a lot, by the way. And I will ask, there's always like 1 or 2 people that that will watch, and then they'll help me. So, please somebody do that, because I will go off on a tangent, and then I need help coming back to where I was at originally. So basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is, the credentials are for, you know, if you even, let's say you want to work in the ER, you know how on my signature it says MSN and then it says RN-BC. The BC is board certified. So board certified means I'm board certified in psychiatric nursing. I did extra classes, I did extra work, and I took an extra, I guess you call it a board. So the NCLEX is considered a board exam. I've taken a VN test. I've taken an RN test. and I've taken 5. I just let one credential go. I don't need it. And it's getting out of control. So I just let it go. But I've done all of these exams, right? Which leads me to another thing I wanted to let you know. If you ever have any questions, I'm super passionate about education. If you ever have any questions, I personally feel that I do have some experience just by, teaching at so many different institutions and staying there, and as well as me being a student myself. And if you have any questions about that or credentials, because I've done that before, and you guys as well, I mean, please, I love interaction. Zoom is so weird. That's the one thing I have finally gotten used to it. I hate it because it's like everyone's on mute, and then you're basically kind of talking to yourself. There's 60 of you, so that's hard, right? I mean, so it's a little difficult, but please, like, we'll get our flow down, I think, together as a class, and you guys all know each other, which is great. But please always feel free to let's ask questions, let's talk. And I don't really know the etiquette as far as because they haven't actually told me the Zoom etiquette. I'm pretty laid back. Please don't be in bed. That's the one thing I ask. I think I personally, I think it's rude. That's just me. I want to be in bed when I work about 70 to 73 hours a week, and not complaining. But I want to lay down in bed, and Friday I teach 2 classes, and then I have Sunday to grade, basically. And I grade throughout the week. So don't worry, you do get your stuff back pretty quick too. That is one thing on my surveys that I get back, is that I'm pretty prompt. I answer my emails, all of that. Please, please, please text. Even if you want to talk, text is better first, because then I'll see that you texted and I won't forget. If you leave a voicemail, my phone doesn't do that. You know how like it does like the 1 or 2 or whatever. I don't know why it doesn't do that, but it doesn't do that. If anybody knows why, I'm pretty tech savvy. I think I'm a millennial. I'm like right at the edge. So I don't want to not get back to you. So please keep in mind, I have, I think, 187 students as of right now, and they're all going to be in my phone. Don't hesitate to text me. I do not want you at home stressing out because you can't turn something in, or you're and I would say the latest, please, no later than like 10:30 p.m. And I think that's pretty late for an instructor. Yeah, about 10:30. And then the morning, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I wake up at like 4 usually every day anyway. So, and I'm pretty understanding. So please talk to me if there's something going on. I give everybody a 1, if you will, like something happened, or I'm not talking about like family emergencies. I mean, like, oh my God, I totally forgot that paper was due. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Can I please turn it in tomorrow, or something like that? Like, everybody gets a 1, like chance to make a mistake, because you're a human. So that's kind of one cool thing. I don't know if San Jose State allows extra credit, but usually I will try to. That was the one thing I didn't ask. And if they do, I don't give more than what would change your grade for you to, like, when you don't actually pass the class. I will tell you though, for the most part, if you are there, you're in class, you're paying pretty much attention, you're listening. I do study guides for tests, which I think is pretty nice. I loved when my instructors did it. And it's not because, again, this isn't about people liking you, or, I want my student. Well, of course I want my students to like me. Just like, people like to be liked. That's nice, right? But I want you to have some direction, right? If you have let's just pretend a test on 5 chapters. And I don't know about the book that we have now, but the last book, the chapters were like 5 pages. It was so weird. So I'm not sure how this is going to look, but let's just pretend. If you have a test on 5 chapters, it's so hard to know what to focus on. And again, I'm going to focus on what I think is important, and I review and I talk about. So I'm very meticulous. Like, I don't just get on here and like to start talking. I actually sit down, I plan for my class. I think about the test prior so that I make sure that I teach you that, so that it's fair, and I'm not going to test you. I don't want to test you on stuff. I want you to succeed. I want you to do well. And most students, unless you're, literally not paying attention, there should be no reason that you get anything less than a B in my class. In my opinion, that's how it's been thus far with Mission College at Hartnell. I really only do clinical or pass or fail classes. But for the most part, and I teach med-surg, I teach simulation checkoff. I do everything. It's not just psych. And that's kind of actually one of my pet peeves when people say, oh, you're just a psych nurse. Well, you're just a med-surg nurse, the kind of thing. And the reason I say that is, please don't ever say, oh, I'm just a student. You're a student. That's amazing. You are in nursing school. Yes, in this time, it may not be the best time to be in nursing school, but you got here. Like, this is amazing. And yes, I'm going to be I'm super mushy-gushy, by the way. I can obviously work in psych, so I have good boundaries. And if need be, I can do that. If I don't need to, why not? Let's have fun. Like, let's have a little bit of fun. Let's laugh. If communication is very important to me. Again, this is an introduction. So this is literally what we would be doing if we were, doing this tomorrow. So that's just as a reminder. Communication is extremely important to me. We are all adults. You were in, at the it doesn't matter. You're in college. If you have a problem with another student, if you have something, maybe I said something that offended you, that can happen. And that's okay to like, it's not okay for me to offend you, but it could be, I would never do it on purpose. Come talk. That's how we solve problems in the world, in my opinion, and in my class, let's put it that way. So if I were doing a lecture and I just happened to say something and you were triggered by it, or just whatever it may be, please come talk to me. It's not, that I'm trying not to make this too long. But I see it in clinical all the time. You know how nurses like can be mean to students, and it's just like, there's no need for it. And, just quick story. This recently happened in a clinical with my students. One of the nurses offered them pizza because we were working I was even working because they were so short because so many of their staff members had COVID. This was not this school. And one of the DSD of this place basically kind of yelled at my students and for taking pizza, because then there wouldn't be enough pizza for the staff. And there was plenty of pizza. There was like 15 huge, the ones from Pizza My Heart. And regardless of that, you don't speak to people like that. Okay. We are a profession. We are in this profession. We shouldn't speak to other people that way in general, in my opinion. You can be who you want to be, but I'm saying at San Jose State, they think they talked about this yesterday. We shouldn't speak to one another like that, regardless, even if we don't care for each other. Let's say somebody doesn't care for each other. That's like this woman. I didn't care for her. That doesn't mean I'm not going to respect her. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to say hello to her. I'm going to be professional, and that's fine, just like at work. I like everyone actually at work. I'm pretty easygoing, if you can't tell. But what did I do? Well, actually, I got a text from the DON. Yeah, DON. Her name's Dean, so it makes it hard, like dean of a school. Oh, well, now you may know. Shoot, if you work there. But anyhow, my whole point is, I got a text and said, "Oh, I know your students were offered pizza. Please don't go in there, or please don't eat the pizzas for the staff." Well, they were already sitting at the table eating, and I'm not gonna lie. I got mad. I was upset. So I took a minute, took a deep breath, and communication needed to happen. So I then went in, and I had already made a good rapport. And the difference is this: the DSD, it's not student friendly, if you will. So, I mean, and that's fine. I understand that it's hard to have students. It is, I myself included. I have students, and I'm a nurse. I love it. But if I'm really, really busy, I'm not going to yell at or be rude. I'm going to just say, I'm having a really busy day, so I may not be as engaged. Please feel free to shout at me today. I'm so sorry. Is that hard to say? Other than, you don't have to be rude, and you all know what I mean. If you did any sort of clinical, like, pretty sure probably, I'm thinking. Anyhow, and I texted the DON. I said, "I'm in your office to speak with you." And I had that conversation and just said, "I want to be open and honest. This is what happened. I really appreciate open communication, and I'm just going to leave it at that." And because I don't want you to, technically I'm supposed to talk for a very long time, because of the how long we're supposed to be here. But again, I'm quality over quantity. So, and that doesn't mean we're going to get on here, have an hour class, and then leave. I mean, this is a, very important class. It's a long class, and you will get breaks. Don't worry. But I don't feel that you need to know every tiny detail of my life. But I do want to give you an idea of the class so that you can kind of hopefully release some anxiety, know that, for example, I wrote down here, let me just look at the top part first. I will talk about the book in just a second, as well as tomorrow. Send Zoom. Perfect. Okay. So assignments. So like I said, those will be up very soon. You don't need to worry about anything right now other than just, and I put that in the announcement, just get your life together right now. That's your homework basically and it's perfect, mental health, right? Just get your life together, kind of organize things, hopefully this weekend, whatever, I'm sure many of you are stressed out. If you need to get a hold of me, or if you have questions or whatever it may be. I'm sure some of you are thinking, God, I wish you would just let us know what chapter to start with. I haven't done that yet because I just found out what book we're using. So I'm asking them to send me a PDF of it so that I can know, because I know I want to start with schizophrenia. I want to start at kind of what I would consider to be the most, I don't want to say devastating, because they can all obviously be devastating, but the most, I think, complex, not in learning, but I want to start there. And I don't know what chapter that is. So I guess if you got the book, if you want to start reading the chapter on schizophrenia, you could. I really love to use different modalities of teaching. So when you have, for example, when we're here together, I have this thing, one of my students named it, it's called, what do they call it? Medication madness or something. So I love medications. I love it. I hope to teach pharm one day. I think if you can take a medication and understand, make the connection. I love the brain. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Favorite organ. Second is the liver. And you'll see how I do it, because I'm going to do that with you, of course. And again, I'm not going to make you a pharmacist, or not going to, again, you're not leaving a psych nurse, but you're going to definitely understand a lot more. For example, I'll give you the perfect example, gabapentin. And I'm going to have to learn how to do this because I usually have like cards. They don't have anything on the back because I know what the medication is already, but it makes me trigger thoughts about what to ask you. But for example, I know I can use Quizlet or do something, or I mean, we're here together. I could probably just use, I just like using the cards. The card might say gabapentin. So the first thing I would ask if we were in person, which is normally how it is, and I do this in clinical too, as like an additional teaching tool for them, because it's great and they love it. They loved it. And I don't think they would just say that. I mean, they all really, really enjoyed it. And they're like, wow, I learned so much. And it will help you if you can apply the methodology of the learning process. You can apply this for the rest of the semester if it works for you, right? So, for example, I will talk about assignments, but I'm talking about now if we're, let's say doing a lecture. I always have an outline of what I'm going to do. We may kind of curve off because we needed to. And someone asked a question and it, wow, sparked a thought, and this is gonna, it still fits and it's great. And we do that because it fit and it was a, really good point to make. And okay, I spent 20 minutes on it and yay. We might play Jeopardy. I have Psych Jeopardy and I have Addiction Jeopardy that I already have pre-made because I use that at El Camino when I do the physiology of addiction. And unfortunately, it's hard to, it's because there's so many of you, we can't play it as the actual game. However, we can use it as the platform. So again, it just switches it up. It's not the same thing. We're just reading from a slide. We're just reading from a PowerPoint. We're just, I don't like the same thing every time. It can get very boring. I like to give personal stories, meaning things that I have seen and I will say in my experience. If something is evidence-based, I will say this is evidence-based. If it's in my experience or if it's something that I think, I will let you know that, because not everything I'm going to say is necessarily evidence-based. I can say, based upon the fact that I saw this and that, this is my belief in what I've seen, and I've done this for this many years. I don't know if I mentioned this yesterday. I know I mentioned that addictions is, I mean, obviously I work in mental health, so I'm a mental health nurse, a psych nurse, but addictions is my niche. It's my I love it. I love teaching it. I love working with the patients. I've opened 2 rehabs, one residential where people go and live there. I did sell that. I opened that about 4 years ago, sold it about 2 years after I opened it because I got into doctorate school. There's just no way when you're working 17-hour days that you just can't. And then I unfortunately decided to, and that one was, I was partnered with someone who basically said, here's $1 million, open it. You'll be this percentage of the owner. I'll be this percentage, whatever. So I sold my shares, moved on. And then I decided, well, I'll open my own outpatient, which you'll learn. If you don't know these terms, you will learn them when we do our, in psych and when we do our addiction piece of this course. And then unfortunately we got licensed and COVID happened. And I just didn't want to take the chance of, the space was pretty small. And it just was too risky. It was too risky. So I put it on hold, and it is what it is. We move on. And all of a sudden I got all of these opportunities. Colleen called me and offered me a job. I didn't. It was just, you never know what's going to happen in life. So, and I'm truly, obviously glad to be here and treated so well. They're so nice. In my opinion, how I've been treated. So, okay. So yes, sometimes we'll watch little videos, together, in class. Because I'll want to talk about it or explain it. What else? I'm trying to think of stuff I do, like actually teaching wise. I just got done teaching med surg online. So I'm trying to think of what I did for that. We did some Quizlets. Oh, I'll do the medication card. So for example, I'll show you a card that will say, and we'll do this. I'll say, okay, guys, we're going to do this for 30 minutes. I have 10 cards and we're going to learn them, whatever, right? So I have a card. It's gabapentin. And normally if we were all together, I would say, what is the classification? And when I say what is the classification means what is it actually for? It's an anti-epileptic, right? So that's the classification of the medication. But what could it be used off-label for? And then then usually I would ask the first time at least, what is off-label? Off-label is a medication that is used for a different purpose than it was originally intended for. So many of you know we use gabapentin, the other name for it, Neurontin, for neuropathy, for those who are suffering with diabetes. And I do my very best to, just as a side note, be as respectful as possible. Like, and this is just me, like calling someone, oh, you're a diabetic, somebody that has diabetes. You're an addict, somebody that's has an issue with addiction, or I try to do that. And I do my best to do that because I personally feel like something doesn't define someone. That doesn't mean you have to be that way, but I just thinking about it from my own perspective. Like, let's say I had, I don't know, whatever it may be. Let's say I'm obese. Oh, that person that's obese, or I don't know. I think you get what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I've literally been working this is the 14th hour, and I didn't expect to make a video because I didn't know I had to go to court tomorrow, or Zoom court. So weird. Don't know what to expect. So weird. Okay, so yes, we'll do all that kind of stuff on our we'll do PowerPoints. We'll do the cards. Sorry, see, there we go. So the cards, and then I'll ask, okay, what can we use gabapentin off label for? And we can use it for neuropathy. We know that, but what else? And this is when it comes to the psychiatric part of it. Well, how does gabapentin work? What does it do? Gabapentin is a central nervous system depressant. How do I know that? What is it? What is the classification? It's an anti-epileptic or anti-seizure, however you want to say it. So what is it going to do? It lowers the activity of the central nervous system. So if it does that, and I think about it, and you may have seen, like, let's say you go to a chart right now, and it said gabapentin 300 milligrams, Q 4 hours, PRN, anxiety. And you might be like, this isn't what this is for. It absolutely is. It's used off label for anxiety all the time. The max daily dose, then I might ask that question, what's the max daily dose? 4,000 milligrams. Some people will say 36. It's 4,000 milligrams, which is the same as Tylenol, by the way. And then I'll say, let's say nobody else knows anything else. I'll say it's also used often for sleep. And then my next question might be, is this medication considered to potentially be addictive? And the answer is no. And I'll teach you how to know the difference between, because it's important to understand. So that's one example. Just one other really quick card example would be, let's say it's, and I usually will stick, obviously this is psych, so I'm going to stick with psych, but I might throw in like Tylenol or something for fun. See, yeah, that's my life. For fun. Let's use, I'm trying to use the medications that are more people have heard of. Prozac. Let's use Prozac. Okay, Prozac. What is the classification of Prozac? The actual classification, it's an antidepressant. Okay. What is it specifically? What are the 4 letters? SSRI. Beautiful. And usually, again, it's really, really awesome to see. sorry to use this word if it offends anyone, but it's almost like this little cult by the end. Like they're all saying it together. It's beautiful. Because we do it, excuse me, over and over and over and over again. And it really works. And then every day I'll add in extra cards, and it's really, really beautiful. Okay. It's an SSRI. What does that stand for? Selective serotonin. And for something like that, I'll usually like ask someone, raise your hand. What does that stand for? So it stands for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Okay, wonderful. That's great. What neurotransmitter does this medication interact with? Serotonin. Okay, that's awesome. If it does what it's supposed to do, what is the feeling that the patient, client, whatever they're called at whatever facility you're working at, how should they feel? And of course, I mean, you can answer this in so many reasons or so many ways. I say well-being. It's not euphoria. We don't want to give false reassurance, right? I like the word well-being. So it would cause well-being. You can use another word if you like it. But again, do you see what I'm saying? It's just repetitive, and then it might just throw in an extra question like, okay, what are some possible side effects when you first start the medication? Constipation, nausea, this, that, da, da, da. Why? Because 90% of your serotonin is in your gut. 10% of it is in your brain. Why is it in your gut? I'm not going to tell you, because you'll learn when we start our classes. So that's what the Amanda, whatever my students named it, I call it Med Madness. They called it something else, to be funny. But that has been such an effective way. I literally have probably a stack this high of cards that I have. My psych ones I'll use for this class, so we'll do that sometimes. Sometimes we'll use PowerPoint. Sometimes I'll just lecture. We might probably have one presentation. There's so many people in the class, so we'll have maybe we'll make it, and when I do presentations, it's not going to be something, I almost said crazy, and I try not to say that word, obviously, because of, it's not really, we're in psych, but we use the word so often without really, I think, thinking about the word. Let's say we'll make it a 2-week thing, and it'll be literally like a 5-minute, no notes, no nothing, I'm making this up on the spot. This doesn't mean this is going to be an assignment, but I've done things like, and you can pick the medication, and you can choose. You can either teach something about a medication. You can do a patient teaching about diagnoses. You can, whatever it may be, but it would be very short, 3 to 5 minutes, or do something like that. And again, it's to switch it up. So it's not just me talking. And if I usually will stop if I'm lecturing and no one has asked a question and say, does anyone have any questions? And personally, and this is just me, and because this class is so big, I think it might be helpful if we all keep our chat open. Don't talk about me in the chat. Be like, oh my God, her hair's such a mess. Yes, it is. I'm tired. I work a lot. And maybe say, I have a question. It doesn't mean you can't just talk at a turn, and talk. But I know for me that usually I feel more comfortable that way, because it can be hard because we can't all see each other, and I want it to be people to be able to ask questions and it be clear or whatnot. So if maybe we establish that together, that might be the better way to do it. Like, I have a question, and then I can say, oh, okay, oh, so-and-so has a question, and we'll do that. And so I will stop periodically and just ask in general, because sometimes people might be just a little shy and not want to ask, but they have something they want to say, or you can ask in the chat. So whatever works for you. Okay, now as far as assignments, of course, we're going to have a couple quizzes. I don't do study guides for those, but of course I'll tell you what it's, you know, what to expect. And usually they're like 5 questions. And again, if you were paying the slightest bit of attention and are listening to what, most of it comes from what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is what the book is saying. So I'm teaching you the book, basically. I may be using different words. I'm not saying don't read. And again, I teach you what I think you need to know to be successful. As a side note, oh yes, that's, I almost forgot. So I work for Kaplan as well. So, and they do NCLEX review and whatnot. So I'm like, they call me this, not me. I'm an NCLEX expert. So I'm actually, I have tons of questions. So we do Psych, NCLEX Psych questions together. So I also do that in class to help with study tips and tricks, and like to help you figure out kind of like, what is the question asking? And while we're doing the question, you're learning something about Psych too, right? Like, oh my God, I didn't know that. I didn't know you could do this or that, or, oh, I learned a new name of a medication. So, and we don't do a ton. We might do, honestly, every week we'll do it. Usually like 3 to 5. And it's fun. Students seem to really like it. And the more NCLEX questions you can start now, the better, right? That's what I mean, I always say. And I have tons and tons and tons. So I forgot to mention that. Okay, back to this, and then we'll wrap up. I mean, I could talk the entire time. I don't think I need to. Please let me know if you have questions. You all have my phone number. I'll say it one more time: 408-477-0995. Just let me know your name and that you're in this theory class, please. And I do try to learn names. This one's going to be hard though, because this is the first class I've ever taught that I've actually will not ever meet you. So just keep that in mind, but I'll do my best. So we will have quizzes. How many, like, I'm not exactly sure. I think I'm trying to count. I want to say 15. I think I made, I'm trying to think between this class and the other class I'm teaching, sorry. I think there's like 4 quizzes, maybe, something like that. I was going to do it every other week, and then I think I decided not to, or maybe that is what it is. Don't stress right now. Basically, the quizzes are short. They are very, I'm straightforward. I'm not trying to confuse you. I don't want to confuse you. I want you to remember. And one thing, and I'm just going to just be straight up and tell you and transparent, pay attention. Pay attention to the NCLEX questions that we do. Pay attention to the lecture, and it's recorded, and I then go, and I have to do it on YouTube, just like this one. So yeah, I do have a YouTube channel. You'll see it. I'm not popular. I'm the only reason I use it literally is to download the video from Zoom, because it's too big of a file. And I just find that the easiest way to do it. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to the quiz questions, because when we do have a test, and you'll have, I think there's 2, just one in the middle, which is, the midterm, and then your final. 50 questions each. So unless I'm told otherwise that I have to do more, I'm still waiting for the email on that. And then assignments, of course, in between, maybe some worksheets, I might have you make a little video instead of doing presentations. You'll see on the syllabus, but I just kind of want to give you an idea of what to expect. But it's not all tests, so because not all of us are good test takers. But again, I'm very straightforward. Now, the reason I'm saying pay attention to like what I'm saying, and and hopefully you're paying attention if you're there, right? The quiz questions, the Kaplan questions, if we're doing it, if we're talking, again, we're talking about gabapentin and I'm showing you a card, we're talking about off-label uses, and then, we're doing all this stuff. If I'm implementing it, it's probably because I want you to learn it. So you might see that on the test. So I'm telling you that this is not a secret. I like repetition. So you may get a 50 question test where you're like, okay, 15 questions of these are from the quizzes that we just took from the beginning of the class. And then your final is both mixed together with other things sprinkled in. So really keep that in mind. So hopefully that also puts a little, and it's not to make it easy, and that's one thing I really want to get across. It's not to make it easy. It's to make it repetition, seeing it, connecting it, remembering it. And you'll actually notice, and I've actually had teachers ask me, like, are they cheating? Like, what are they doing? Like, not for you guys, but when I'm in an actual class, I have hand gestures that I'll do. So like if I talk about the opiate receptor, I don't know why I do this. If I talk about well-being, I go like this. If I talk about psychosis, it's a detachment from, like, I have my own like psych sign language. And it has been proven that chewing gum too, I don't know why. But chewing gum while you're studying helps you remember things and being able to make connections to things. So like my students would be taking tests and they would be like doing things because that's how they would remember it, because they're associating it with something. Anyway, that's just what they say. So really, I don't have much more to say. I think I hit the highlights. The only other thing is the book. It's the $95 book. I wrote an announcement on that too. It's the $95 book, the Essentials Enhanced Version, second edition, the whatever that thing's called, IBN number. Oh my God, it's getting to that point, or your brain is like, what? I can't see. That number that the book has is 978-1975-154-783. That's what I was told. Okay. And I'm really sorry about the confusion. Like, I'm a very structured person. I'm very, although I may sometimes come across as a little bit of chaos, it's just because I have a lot of energy. Obviously I have ADHD, and in a functional way. Remember, there's a spectrum. So it actually helps me be productive. So, why did I say that? As far as being, prepared for things, and like, I want you to feel secure and that you're in good hands, and that you are not only going to learn in this class, but this is not supposed to be stressful. I'm human though. I will make mistakes. I will. I'm, just like you're going to make mistakes. I mean, we're human beings. If you make a typo or whatever it is, like in an email, or, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm that texter. You're going to be like, is she like drunk? Like, what? Because I'm doing usually 25 things at once and I'm paying attention and I want to get back to you. So my texter, sometimes it's like, it's okay to be like, what, miss, or, what do you call me? What, Amanda, or professor, or whatever you want to call me. But I'm totally fine with Amanda. That I'm totally fine. As long as, I respect you, or you respect me. I'm honored to be here and be a part of this journey with you. And I know for myself, I look back at my instructors and I'm just like, wow, they like, I'm not saying I'm gonna like be life changing, but like, wow, they really like cared about me and like I really care about you. I truly, genuinely care about you and your success and everything. So, probably will cry at least one time in class because I'm wishy-washy at a video or something, just warning you. Not like cry, but tear. I think I'm gonna call it here. Let me know if you have any questions. We're gonna have to designate someone here on Zoom to like call me off because I won't ever leave. I mean, of course, I'm gonna let you go on time or probably early, like at 4 or whatever it is. One day you might get done 30 minutes early. One day we might go straight to 4:15. It just depends on what's going on. And I guess lastly, I do have 4 dogs. I do lock them up during my classes, so super cute. So I do want to warn you on that. And I obviously can't mute because I have to like teach the class. So I'm gonna call myself here. I'm gonna stop, and I will see you tomorrow at 3:30. The link is on the announcement. That's when we're having class. Remember, this is the introduction part. Tomorrow we'll finish the introduction. Or if I think of like, oh my gosh, I should have said that, or I forgot that, or whatnot. But that chunk is so that you can ask questions. And also we can go over the book, or if there's any discrepancies over that. And that's it. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stop this, download it, and then post it on the announcements. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at 3:30. Again, the Zoom link for that is under announcements. It even says Zoom link. And this will come up. Well, you won't see it until it's on, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, I don't think this is too long. I don't think, okay, not too bad. I hope to see all of you tomorrow, and that's it. Have a good night, and I hope this week hasn't been overly stressful. See you tomorrow.